Hey, how's my audio? Is it echoing like usual?
No, that time I heard you loud and clear.
Okay, I'm on my phone. I'm done with the whole web app thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I have no idea what was going on last time, but it sounded like you were in a subway
Wow.
and not like
Sorry about
the
that.
restaurant. No, you're good. You're good. I think that happened to you once before too. So I know it's not
Yeah.
intentional. It's just whatever. I know like Howler whenever we've done like video chats with him, there's like some weird ambient background noise that it shows his microphone is always being on. And I can't hear it, but it's if we're on camera together, like it's always zeroed in on him, even if he's not talking, which is kind of comical. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, just sometimes computers are just weird. They do what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, I'll just join on my phone.
Perfect.
Cool.
Do I need to go back to playing the music or?
Yes.
It's the Bubba Joey Power Hour.
Did Nick
Where
do
you
that?
actually
Oh no, I did that.
Oh, okay.
I just decided like I'll just own up to it. But yeah, so we'll give it a few more minutes to see if any stragglers want to pop on. I was trying to add people last time during the call, and it would only let me do one at a time. It would let Howler do a bunch at a time. I don't know. I think that's kind of annoying. Let people join if they want to listen, kind of thing.
it'd be nice if I can do them all at once. So I'll
Yeah,
try to invite all the online ones.
yeah. I have no idea how you did that, but do your thing.
PC magic.
Oh, that might be what it is, because yeah, I'm trying to run a Mac and a PC at the same time, and yep, it's not working. It's like half-assing two things instead of whole-assing one.
Stay on the scene, get on up like an aubergine. Ah!
You just clipped my headphones, and I didn't think that was possible.
You're welcome.
Oh, I should have been playing the Wurzels when all these people came on. What was I thinking playing Gimli sax?
You play whatever you want, good sir.
Oh, I do. Don't worry. I'll wait till the
Ah,
vinyl shows up, and then I'll put a microphone up to the vinyl itself, and we'll listen to pure gold. None of this digital
excellent.
recreation. Yes,
The warm tone of vinyl.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is, sir, it is.
I'll let
Why
how,
is it so quiet in here?
'cause silence is golden.
Oh, okay.
Here, is that better?
We should we should start playing our voice commercial
There
every
we
time
go.
we do the MA.
Actually, I was
Bye,
I
bye,
was
bye,
thinking
bye.
about
Huddle, huddle.
putting that video in front of, because I'm turning it the audio file into a video and then sending it to everybody. So I have been thinking like, oh well, just like Cody does, it's the perfect way to just do a little plug and then give them their video. So it's already thought of.
Yeah,
Makes sense though.
it does. It does.
But
This is taking too long, actually.
no, you're good, buddy. Honestly, it's just like usual. Those who want to listen in can listen. It is recording. Now that I realize how much faster my Mac works, these videos are going to go up a whole lot faster than like a week delay because they don't fail. So that's fantastic. So we can kind of just get a jump start. And then if people jump in afterwards, they can. Sorry, now it's a dog barking because the kid's sleeping. It's not one thing, it's another. But we can get a jump start, and then people can trickle in like usual. So the Friday AMA, is like always, is just kind of to give you a quick rundown on the week. If you have any questions, we can answer them here. Obviously, you can ask them whenever throughout the group. We've been getting busier and busier and busier, and so I do apologize to anybody who's had to wait an extra day or two for a response. Sometimes they really do get lost. Like I'll wake up in the morning to 600 messages. So if I'm not responding, like, don't feel bad if you message me again, because that'll put you back at the top of my list, and it kind of will draw me into like, oh yeah, crap, didn't answer them yet. So never hesitate to do that. But to kind of touch base on some things for the week, this week was a lot of just piddly things on the back end, getting them going. So it wasn't super exciting. You didn't see me doing a bunch of AMAs this week because I wanted to see if it was effective to go a week without them. And honestly, our chart looked no different theoretically without doing an AMA a day than it did when I was spending a substantial amount of money on those AMAs. So while the market is still kind of wonky and we're rolling into Christmas and stuff like that, most of them are just going to now be in-house, which the first third-party in-house one we had was today, actually, and it went really well. But we need to work on, not that I want to make any of you suffer and sit through calls you don't want to listen to, we need to get the viewer counts on those up to about 25 to 35 consistently. So that was our first one. It went really well. It showed about 15 people on average. Once we can hit the 25 to 35 mark, though, at that point we will look established enough where we'll actually be able to comfortably charge for our AMA services to interview these projects and give them a quality video in return. But also, you never know what kind of things that we might as a community find that we want to personally invest in. But it's an extra revenue stream for the project itself. So that's kind of why we need to bump those numbers up, because getting one B&B for every single one of those, if we do 5 a week, that's basically we exchange about one B&B a day from the marketing wallet. That would effectively double how much we're getting per week. And that is kind of huge towards project development, which is the next major thing. I'm not going to give too many details because this is more of a Howler's department, and I'm an overtalker, so I would rather him say what he wants to say. But we have broken some pretty substantial ground on the development of our decentralized exchange, or our swap. So I'll hand it over to him to give a bit of the spiel on that and not let me overtalk.
Thank you very much, Joe. So, guys, some good news for everyone. We managed to scoop up a great coder, basically, who will develop our platform. It will be a decentralized exchange. It'll be a swap, and it'll be a decentralized finance. So we are still looking to build a vision of basically the intended vision of the decentralized exchange, which will be similar to basically centralized exchange, but it'll be basically decentralized. So swap will be just a simple swap as usual. It will have auto slippage, so there's no confusion about what's the slippage or anything like that. And for decentralized finance, we'll start with only staking and farming on that. Just so everyone knows, it's basically 2 main things on it anyway. And we'll have a launch pad. So it's not going to be a launch pad that you guys think about. Thinking about, it'll be mostly the upcoming staking pools or farming pools, the upcoming basically liquidity providers or anything like that. So we, as I said previously, we did manage to get a coder. So he agreed to start working after the holidays. So his work actually begins on January 3rd, because he said he is a Christian and he wants the holidays, so he doesn't want to work through holidays, which is fully acceptable by any standard. So we managed to basically send him a deposit, so he wouldn't take any other jobs, which is actually great. So we have a guy for that now, and he done previous work on swaps and anything like that. So he did send us a preview. I don't think we can share that yet because there's some stuff pretty sensitive on that. But basically, the whole platform should be developed within 45 days, which is a deadline of starting from January 3rd. So 45 days to basically get it up and running completely. In between that, um, we will have a chance to basically test everything. We did talk about a possibility of releasing a swap first. So we kind of put a pin on that because it kind of will bring a lot of load to the coder himself if the swap is actually being used. So we kind of just put a pin on that. Maybe we'll get it up and running, but in reality, 45 days from January 3rd, um, that's basically the expected release of the platform, which is great because we did intended to release it on Q1 2022. So we are very much on track. Let's put it at that.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. And talking to this guy and seeing some of the stuff that he's done in the past, like what our vision is and what our project is, it's pretty massive on the back end. And we're pretty exclusive to the idea, but we're not. It's kind of like he's using multiple concepts that he's worked with in the past and combining them into one. So, I mean, these are all things that he has done in the past. It's not like we're 100% unique. It's just combining all of them into one platform. And so I'm pretty excited if this pans out the way that it should pan out. Like we will still be on track even with the hard cap hiccup and providing a solid product. Like it won't be like we've started like our marketing and stuff like that has been a little like hit and a little slower than we intended, but it won't impact the swap at all, which is actually really impressive and really exciting on our end. Like that'll still come out as a solid gold product where other things have had to kind of take like financial cutbacks. So that is super exciting. Howler, we haven't had a chance, but have you any more information on the Christmas NFT stuff? I feel like we haven't talked about it in a few days.
So so the developer is of the Christmas NFTs. That was actually AJ stuff. I
No,
was doing
I'm
the
talking the giveaway, like the ones that were just kind of given away, not the ones that we're selling.
Oh yeah. So those are kind of delayed because the developer of the exact themed one
Mm-hmm.
that he sent me a preview for, he kind of he's in and out of the place right now, so he's not in a good place right now. So I told him to basically till Sunday if he doesn't agree to do it, because he has to do it manually by
Mm-hmm.
hand. It's not like randomly generated ones. Um, so I gave him by Sunday, so a
Okay.
couple more days till 19th. If he doesn't agree to that, I'll be looking for another one with basically the same concept.
Okay. Fair enough. And then AJ, I don't know if you're free to talk if you're kind of multitasking between the two. Um, if you want to fill
Mm.
them in on the Christmas ones, I know you've been slowly sending them my way. They look really cool.
Yep, we've got. I was gonna say in the next. By the time you get off this call, you should have the rest of them for your inbox. But yep, we've got all of the. We have 12 Christmas NFTs that are themed from around the world that you guys will be able to purchase, basically. So, but yeah, you'll have all of those here in just a little bit.
Do you want to give a rundown on the countries and what the images are?
Oh, yeah. If you wanna
Yeah, fire away.
if you want to go through oh yes, we can definitely do that. So basically, we were trying to have how do I want to say it? Like come up with concepts of traditions for from where they originated. So we have gingerbread, like a gingerbread man from Germany. La Belfana is the Christmas witch from Italy. Nesting dolls in Russia. Um, Sleipnir, if anyone is familiar with that, it's Odin's eight-legged horse from Iceland.
No
Mexico.
way.
What? Why? What's wrong
Sorry,
with
I
that?
love I love Norse mythology. That was awesome. Sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you. I shut up and
No, that's okay. That's so. I'm glad somebody knew about it. It was it was harder to find traditions from other cultures that were unique because Germany and Italy, my God, they have everything. So we were trying to find something that was unique to all these different countries. But Mexico, we have poinsettias, the Karavaki from Greece with the lights on the boats. That's something that they do over there. They decorate all of like their sailing boats. Portugal, the Good Luck Rooster. Japan is KFC. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but that is like the national meal for Christmas over there. I know Joe had his eye on that one. But for the USA, we have Christmas lights because Christmas lights were actually invented in New York by a friend of Thomas Edison. And then Australia, we have Surfing Santa. And then the last two, we have an actual ADREAM themed picture, and then there's a New Year's ball for the last one. So, but that'll be the 12 that we have. I personally think they are good. I might be a little biased there, but yeah, there's kind of a couple different tiers of complexity with them. None of these were like just generated; these were all done by hand. Um, so it's a little more one of a kind and unique than some of the NFTs, where I'm sure you guys will see. Well, like there will be 100 of like the exact same image with just a few tweaks and differences. Every one of these will be very, very different and unique. So okay, there's your rundown on our Christmas NFTs.
Well, there we go. And they're all kind of a little bit of a kitschy. I know like the 8-bit or the 80s theme has been a little bit more popular as of late. So they are all 8-bit concepts versus like some of the bigger, more flashy 3D ones, just to kind of pay homage to more or less pop culture and how it's growing right now and just how it's changed through tech. So of those 12, some of them, it's going to be tiered out from like a lower tier all the way to a higher tier where there might be multiple copies. There will be multiple copies of some of the lower tier ones. And then like the tier 4, there will only be a single copy of it. And once it's yours, you can do with it what you want. So you never know. You could be holding an NFT that may never be worth more than what you paid for it. Or as our project grows, like these will be the original ADREAM NFT release. These could potentially have value to them, but only time will tell on that. I don't want to make false promises, but if nothing else, it's still kind of a neat little concept if any of you guys are NFT collectors, and if you're not, could be a time to start, or if you know somebody who is, could be something that you could, share with them. They won't have any crazy like utility or value like as time goes on, as we partner with blockchain games and stuff like that, where NFTs will have potential like cross compatibility or their power ups and stuff like that. These are more just like the old school or like collector style NFT more than anything.
A question, if I may.
Yeah, fire away.
Or will we bid on those, or will it be a set price, and will we purchase those with BNB or ADREAM token or some other way?
As of right now, the site that I've seen or the way that I intend on doing it, it won't be an auction on the initial price. It'll actually be a set price, and then you can buy them as you will. And then afterwards, if you want to put them up for auction, you are more than welcome to. If I can find a way, I don't think I'm going to be able to because of how new we are. If I can find a way to have them minted in a Dream token, I will. But they will be on the Binance Smart Chain, and they'll be bought and sold through BNB.
So actually, to add up on that, we will basically, I'll even look into that. So people could actually purchase it with ADREAM, or if they want with BSC, but it will be on that BSC mainnet. So
Correct.
and it could be an auction style as well. I don't think you set it in stone yet, Joe. Have you?
I haven't officially. I've seen a few of the NFT minting services here in the States. Not all of them are even usable here in the States. Some of them, like Bakery Swap, I can't actually even use or have access to. So still kind of doing a little bit of last second finalizing which service that we end up using to mint these. So kind of don't want to let it go any later than Christmas. So we do have a little bit of time. But it'll be happening sooner than later. So we'll finalize the last little bit, iron out the creases, and then we'll announce it and share it so you guys can all kind of decide what to do with them.
Yeah. So can you tell us where actually? Can you tell people where that uh money will go to, just
Yes.
so
Yeah.
everybody knows?
It's really intended to be for marketing. So a small percentage, 15% of each one will go back to AJ for all the time that she put into the work involved. But again, just like doing the AMAs, it is another just project development fund. So everything that we're making right now, like we're getting paid with our reflections, if there are reflections. So right now we're in periods of low volume. So it's still how we're getting paid. We're not taking our salary. That's all going into liquidity. So we're finding ways to bump up effectively how we can pay for marketing and project development without ever having to directly go to you guys and say, hey, we need, let's have a fundraiser. It's more like we're providing goods and services for you, and in turn, using those goods and services to then increase the market share that we have as a project.
Yeah, so basically these funds will be used for for the further development and
Yeah.
marketing. So
Yep. So there's that. I really didn't actually have too much to say on this call. The only other thing that I have on my end is the giveaway for Twitter. But Howler, if you have anything else, by all means.
I do have a couple of things actually.
Yeah, fire away.
So as everyone know by now, I did mention it. So the platform basically will be released in mid of Q1, but it doesn't mean nothing will be happening between that. So, we're not gonna be sitting still and doing nothing till it gets developed and stuff. So basically, what I've been looking for is a coder, another blockchain coder, to make us a small, like a mini NFT game. So it will involve like prize pools, so people can play it. Let's say like back in the 90s or 80s arcade games and stuff like that. So you put in some coins and you just play for high score. So basically that's the idea of what we want for like a small blockchain game, maybe on our website, maybe on Telegram. I'm not sure how we'll do it, but it shouldn't be taking too long to develop this kind of stuff. So people will be able to basically use their ADREAM tokens to play for a high score or just play for the enjoyment. And basically, some percentage, maybe anywhere from 20 to 50%, will be put in the prize pool. So maybe at the end of the week or maybe at the end of the month, um, the top score person will be winning that pool, and the rest will be burned. So we have a plan set in stone basically um, to burn some of the circulating supply that is out there. So it doesn't make sense to actually burn any of our ecosystem tokens because these will be used for basically further development. So we can't really use that, but we're looking for ways to basically lower the circulating supply that is out there and rewarding people at the same time. So
Right. And if
um,
we burn the tokens that are set aside for the ecosystem, theoretically that won't impact the price anyways because they were never circulating. So it's a small, kitschy way of, again, providing utility, giving you a use for your token outside of just holding, which also, in theory, gets volume and transaction moving. As people kind of see those little things, they're gonna want to jump in. But also, unless it glazed over me, I didn't hear. Did you mention the idea of there being a prize pool for the game?
I did,
Okay.
yes. And actually, I did forgot to kind of mention, we are looking at the same time to build the blockchain game plus a NFT minting dApp. So you guys will be able to mint NFTs with ADREAM, not BSC tokens, but with ADREAM. So that will bring exclusive utility towards ADREAM. So you will be able to use to mint the NFTs and use them in game. So you will vary from like legendary to, let's say, common, so you never know what you'll get. But yeah, we have a couple of plans to just bring um, exclusivity towards ADREAM ASAP. And of course, anyone who owns the NFT, you will be on BSC's chain, so you guys will be able to sell it or, use it, keep it, whatever you want to do with it. It'll be exclusively yours. And as we mentioned it, as blockchain game will probably be burning 50% or a bit more of them proceeds. So with NFT minting, we'll be burning all of it. If you guys buy the NFT, basically mint your NFT, and you pay with ADREAM, them tokens will be going to burn address. So that's another way of lowering the circulating supply.
And in addition to that, it's not necessarily you guys have to mint the NFTs. As you're out in the crypto space and you know people who want to mint NFTs, you can even send them our way, because then if they buy the token, that's volume, and then if they burn the token, that's reducing circulating supply. So it provides, again, it's one of those providing services to another niche. Like no one person is going to have use for every single application that we have, but throughout building the entire ecosystem, we will eventually become a one-stop shop end of day in the blockchain space, and it'll be really fun as we kind of go through each of these. And even talking like the blockchain game and stuff like that, when Howler and I first met, that was part of why like there's a roadmap. The phase 3 or phase 4 has a $10,000 giveaway in a game, because originally there was a lot of focus that was going to be given on making a blockchain game, and now it's just kind of, that's a little bit more on the back burner, but it still has been something that we've discussed all the way back from day one. So this is just pulling back some of the original ideas from kind of like our back pocket to our front pocket, that we can release a little bit either sooner or more effectively now that we have a better understanding of how our ecosystem is going to work and really implementing them better. So it'll be fun.
Quick question,
Yeah.
if I may. The NFT minting, do you guys are you at the point where you have a cost associated with each mint?
No, but you'll basically be paying gas fees for it and your ADREAM. So we will be switching off fees basically for that. So if you were to pay, I'm not 100% sure on this if it'll work. I'll need to discuss this with the coder. But in reality, what I would like to do is basically set the address that receives the ADREAM for minting to not charge any fees. Basically, the 14% fee will not be happening. So if, for example, the NFT minting would cost like 1 billion tokens, um, so you would just pay straight up 1 billion tokens.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, so it's basically like the staking pool we have with CoinFlag. So I think it's very doable. Because if you go to CoinFlag and you stake your amount, you don't actually get charged fees. So I think it will work on this as well. So it's something to look forward to.
Got a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can answer it. Kind of something you talked about earlier, but is the developer you got, is that guy's name Thomas by chance?
No, no.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind then.
Why is he good?
Well, I know the guy from Safe Moon. I know he's out there now, so I just, as of this week. So I wondered if that might have been it. But
Already on
Well,
it, but it's not him yet.
gotcha. Very good.
well, we couldn't afford him actually because I think SafeMoon collected like $1 million for just building a wallet. So we
Wow.
can't afford that. Yeah, so it's ridiculous. You can do it by like 20 times less than that.
Yeah, gotcha. Very good. Thanks.
No problem, man. If you have any questions, always ask. Um, so Joe,
Tyler, I think you may
yeah,
have answered it, if I can ask. I think I was a little late to the call, but did you say how ownership works of NFTs? Like how do you get the unique, address of it or whatever it is?
So the I'm not sure what kind of let me check. So basically, when you mint your NFT, it's not a BEP20 NFT. It's called something else. I can't really remember. But it basically, if you were to mint an NFT, it would go straight into your account like a transaction. So it's still a token. It still has a contract behind it, every NFT. Um, so
So basically, each one's a custom token, essentially, one of a kind.
yes, there might be some like duplicates that look alike maybe, in maybe like a tiny bit, but in a way, it should be like randomly generated. Yes.
Right on. Good enough for me.
So it should be in reality one of a kind, yeah. Which is pretty cool, I guess, if we were to do like maybe let's say anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 of them, you know. So did I say 3,000? From 1,000 to like 10,000? Um, you know, there's a lot of possibility to get something good and sell it if there's a good use case for it.
When did you say that or when did you say that would be launching? About?
So I'm still looking for a coder,
Gotcha.
another blockchain coder. But so we have one. He's able to do everything on the blockchain. Actually, he is able to um, basically create the blockchain games, the codes behind it, all that good stuff. But we need him working on this platform. So I'll be basically looking for another coder, and it shouldn't take him that long. But of course, we would expect him to start work from January as well because of the holiday season. Um, but if he is able to start before that, which is great.
Cool. And then my last question regarding the NFTs: Are you guys gonna make it to where it can have utilities or like what do you call not downloadable content, but you know what I'm referring to?
Basically,
Uh,
make the NFT almost be like a power up for a game or something along those lines, or
it could be like
Yeah.
that or a skin. So it will depend on the coder itself, I guess, if he is able to make them. Well, I assume he would, because I wouldn't be looking for anyone else who couldn't. So it could be like a skin or a power up. Uh, it could be like maybe I don't know, like I don't know. It could be anything like that. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
well, and
Yeah.
to touch on that a little bit further, when it comes to the actual development of our NFT minting DApp, I don't know the complexity of allowing that to happen. However, when it comes to the minting of ADREAM specific NFTs, like I see Christian on the call, and I need to reach back out to that one project you were telling me about. There is intent to having like ADREAM specific NFTs that are exactly what you're talking about. It's just having the ability, because like when I'm looking around, it seems like a lot of those more complex NFT concepts where it can be skins or power ups and stuff like that require almost custom coding. It's not really something that just you upload, plug, play, and all of a sudden it works. So that might not necessarily be 100% doable in our little like DApp that we're working on. But on our personal end, yeah, it could be something as silly as one of these blockchain games you have. Like we partner with them, and then there's an ADREAM custom skin for your character, which will just it'll spread and promote while you play a game.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, and this isn't a criticism at all, or not to poo poo on anything, because like I'm not sure what. Uh, as an investor from that angle, I really appreciate like the projects you guys have going on that are like the big portions of this, and I'm curious, like how much of like the NFT stuff and like maybe games and stuff like that is on like the major roadmap, or are these more like side quests that are more for like the community for fun?
Side
Um,
quests.
I can answer that.
Yeah.
So these are basically side quests. These are not main development. So the main blockchain game will not be like a mini game or anything like that. So the blockchain game was initially my idea when I met Joe to basically partner up with ADREAM. Um, so I kind of push that aside now to focus on this fully, but that is in the long run. Let's say that
Yeah, that's one of
that
those
will be.
we still
Right on.
we still talk about a lot of things. So it looks like there's a lot of irons in the fire, and there will be a lot of irons in the fire, but we are definitely strategically focusing on specific components. So we're not like flipping through and working on 20 projects in one day. It's kind of like one day we'll tackle ABC, and then once the majority of what we needed to get done on those projects is done, then we'll focus and like reopen like the idea book and see like, okay, what's practical, what can we work on now. So like our swap, that's the big one that we're focusing on. So while we're talking about these like the NFT DApp and the blockchain game, it'll depend on how complex they are to how quick they come out. But the primary focus right now is to get the Dream Swap platform out and done. So like even though we're talking about a whole lot of things on the back end, that takes primary focus, and that'll be the first thing out because once that is released, I don't want to call it a cash cow, but that will very quickly single-handedly fund just about every aspect of this project. So once that's out, it's going to make it that much quicker for Dream Chart to come out. It's going to make it that much quicker for Dream Launch to come out. By the time Dream Launch is out, we're already going to have the blockchain mini game. We're going to have the DApp for NFT minting. At that point, that's where we'll really be able to see like, okay, where do we stand on getting like the Dream Invest platform out. So like those are the major things. But I guess like touching back on the side quest joke, I absolutely love playing Skyrim, and let me tell you, by the time I started the main quest line, my character was invincible because all I did was side quests. So sometimes those little side quests are going to be what gets extra eyes on the project, so that way when we launch our initial like primary utility, it's just going to rocket that much faster.
Yeah, definitely nothing wrong with that. I mean, as far as like the marketing goes, kind of a bunch of good ideas. I don't think necessarily having many irons in the fire is a bad thing, as long as the main thing, because it's the utility of it, it is going to go far.
Yeah.
If the marketing is there already, you know what I mean? So.
Yep. Well, and that's it. Is each one kind of assists in like marketing the next leg of the journey, and they all kind of cohabitate with each other. So it's not like it's completely like two opposite ends of the spectrum where we've got some blockchain project working on, I don't know, making struts for cars. And then we've got another one that's all about, like farming. Like two things that don't really connect with each other. So we are making it a point that everything that we have end of day is kind of cohesive to the overall ecosystem as well.
Yeah. So we do have priority of releasing the main platform, of course. So our biggest focus is on that, of course, but it's not actually me who's coding that. I will be overlooking that 3 to 4 times a week. Um, Basically checking up on coder. He will provide me with all the work he done. We will adjust things if we need to. But it doesn't mean that I'm basically, full out on this. So I have space to do other things as well. Um, so that's where so initial thought of doing that was having the 1000 BNB hard cap and having the money to do it, so we could hire 2 to 3 blockchain developers to get this out ASAP. But now we have to manage with what we have, and whatever plans we actually make, um, it's in our budget, which is great actually. We can do them, and doing this side quest is beneficial as well to as the community, providing the um, more utility towards ADREAM, and it'll basically be very good selling point for marketing because if we were to go full out on marketing right now and just make promises, 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 so it wouldn't do anything good for the chart. You know, it might go up like two, three times, but it's gonna crash down because we basically don't have anything to offer to people for them to stay. So even with this NFT minting and blockchain side quest, there could be a potential new investors who actually enjoys that, and of course they stay, and we find new floor levels, which is what we're looking for.
Well, and it's something you can share, whether you share it on Twitter, Reddit, Instagram. Just like I don't know, I used to play the Flash games on addicting games all the time back in the days of AOL. So I'd share the ones that I thought were fun with my friends, and then it would get them addicted to it, and then they'd share it with their friends. So like when I was thinking the arcade ideas, I know Howler's going to kind of lead with it, but um, just like the stupid Galaga or Pac-Man or things like that, where it really is only it doesn't cost but like 25 cents in a dream. But they're fun, they're quick, they're addicting, and it's something that you can play on your free time, and it doesn't take but 5 minutes, and you can play it over and over and over again. So just little things like that, and it hits all ages of the investor spectrum too, because you've got older farts like myself who actually enjoy those games, and then you've got the young kids coming in who think old and retro is cool. So it's just another little kind of like that silly video we have. um, I've got friends who I really thought were going to make fun of that video going, holy shit, that thing's super cool, and they share it for me. So it's just another, in a weird way, it's like a marketing scheme as well as something fun to do.
We do understand that not everyone plays games,
Yeah.
so it will be like a specific niche, I guess, for like gamers, or it's not really gamers because it'll be like mini games. It's not like you spend, 2, 3 hours playing one mission or anything like that. So
Um,
y- y- yeah,
There's Pedro.
oh, sorry guys, I've been listening.
No,
Sorry about that.
you're good.
So,
You're good.
am I too much?
No, no. I heard the and I knew it was you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my question is this in regards to the NFTs. Will I be able to, let's say I make one within the system, right? And then I launch it on the ADREAM system. Will I be able to cross-chain sell that to, let's say, Ethereum and or other projects out there, other uh, networks, or is it just simply
well,
for ours?
it will be specific to BSC for now.
So
Um,
for now, but
Yes.
in the
yeah,
future,
in
okay?
the future, are uh, we do have plans to go multi-chain, of course, but we can't really discuss this now because we don't have it all together yet.
Yeah.
But
Even
we,
Understand?
even talking with like the swap coder, because we asked like how, if you could
Yeah.
already make it multi-chain, and he kind of was like, I can't. Like, basically, he said no. I need to keep researching because it's multi-chain is still something that's relatively new and being done, and it's still not perfect. Now you can always take the NFT you mint to another location and try and multi-chain it from there, but there's a lot more coding and a lot more work on the back end that trying to release that now doesn't really make financial sense for the project, but it is something that will be worked on in the upcoming future.
you can always
Well,
just manually sell it to somebody on the other chain,
Yeah.
but it will be locked into a BSC basically.
and that's what I'm saying is more or
Yeah.
less because let's say, I mean, and there's not a lot of projects that, first of all, doing that, right? Where somebody off the street can say, hey, I just have a friend of mine who is looking to mint an NFT. She is a great artist, right? She's like, how do I do that? I go, listen, I already have a platform you can go through. It's fairly easy. You go in, you set it up, and then you can start generating NFTs through that. And then from there, sell it onto other platforms if you would like to. Obviously, there's a little more research, but there's that selling aspect of being able to do that because a lot of artists don't know how to do that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so us being having that ability to be able to say, market it with this, hey, come to our platform. Not only are we a doc system and people who are all straight up, not only are we leading in literally the Bloomberg terminal where everybody can talk about it and make sure it's not a scam, but people come in and they're able to create their own NFTs, and then that can be sold out in the world for them to make additional income. See what I'm saying?
Just to touch up on that, the app will be specific to just minting um, the randomly generated NFTs. People won't be able to put in their NFTs or mint their own NFTs. Uh, we are building specifically towards the mini game basically utility. But in future, of course, yes, we have plans to basically take over the Web3. So
Just
so
trying to get a jump
expect
start. Yeah.
unexpected. So
I'm
yeah,
sorry, say that
definitely
again.
Well, I was saying
Say that
expect
again.
we're
unexpected.
just trying to get a jump start on taking over Web3.
Yeah.
Love it.
So basically the Web3 is new and exciting and it's the future. So it's great time to actually go all out on it. So talking about that, of course, whenever we released it, the decentralized exchange, the decentralized finance, the swap. So obviously, we're gonna reinvest all that money. So we're gonna build capital with capital, basically, so we can mostly use that on Dream Invest when the time comes. But
Yes.
if you ever seen the YouTuber Mr. Beast or something, he's always like reinvesting, giving money to people, all that stuff. So we're basically using all we get for further development because that's how it's supposed to do. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to like take 70-80% of it and leave your community stranded. So that's not the plan. The plan is to basically take over the whole Web3, build whatever we can to build the best ecosystem we can build, and ADREAM will be used in all of our platforms. So if you were to be looking to mint your own NFTs, if you were to be looking to mint to launch your own project, to use our swap decentralized exchange for your own project, um, you know, there's no limit of what we'll actually be able to do with this. So I'm very excited to actually see that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Of course.
no problem. Have you actually mentioned the bad news we have? Because with great news, there's always some bad news.
Mm.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I've not told anybody that my hamster got ran over by a semi truck this morning. So
Oh
if we could all just take a
gosh,
moment of silence. No, I'm just kidding. Um, on
yeah, that's a bad joke.
yeah. So
That's a bad joke.
How
well,
dare
it's
you
only
call
it's
my
only a
mother
hamster.
semi-truck?
Ooh, I'm not even gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole. So I know some of you on here I've talked to, or we're kind of excited. So we were starting to talk a lot about a centralized exchange listing and Howler. When we had the moment of the listing, it was definitely a very high moment, and we got super excited because it was a very legit promise and project, and it still is a legit project and promise. But the more that Howler did some research on the marketing plan that they back and some behind closed doors or whispers in the dark web of CoinTiger, there is a lot of talk of money laundering or like bots within their system kind of manipulating the trading back and forth. And more or less something that we don't really want to be a part of. And we feel like the money that it would cost to get us onto that platform would really have just been money going up in flames. So we've decided to take the money that we had been saving for the CoinTiger listing, and that's what we're using for the swap development, and that's what's going to actually accelerate the swap, because that end of day takes precedence over actually getting a centralized exchange listing. But on the flip side of things, when we get our swap out and running, the money that comes from that, that'll then be reinvested, can also be used towards getting us onto centralized exchange listings. And having utility right away when we get onto those exchange listings is going to be so much more beneficial for us than that little like Coin Tiger 2-week marketing push that they were promising just to have our coin money laundered from market making bots. So I think that's the bad news Holler was talking about. If not, I must have already forgot it because it wasn't that bad.
I, I would
First of
like
all,
to.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Howler, for like diving deep into that and really vetting that. Thank you so much.
No problem. It was basically my duty because if we were to spend that money on a decentralized, centralized exchange, it would basically put us below anywhere from 2 to 3,000 that we have for development, which didn't actually make sense. And with all their marketing promises, all this and that, there's no guarantee that we'll pick up any trading volume or anything like that. And in that sense, every centralized exchange, um, basically the tokens that go onto a centralized exchange has to disable taxing for that wallet. So it can be traded without tax, and centralized exchange would be taking their cut, of course, for every transaction. But there would be no benefit for us, if you know what I mean. So, of course, there could be like what's that word? Arbitrage. If they were to basically buy for a lower amount there, they would take it out, sell it in our own exchange, all that stuff. There would be trading volume because of that, but it doesn't make sense because um, we don't have anything to offer to people yet. So who are we to actually put it onto a centralized exchange with no utility? If there's people who are trading in centralized exchange, they usually are trading for like margins or future trading or something like that, or just for profits, of course. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. But um, as holders, we would benefit from them actually taking the transferring out of the centralized exchange, which there would be no point for them doing it at this moment. So we want to build this utility, everything else, that they would actually have a good point to take their transfer basically the ADREAM out, and then they would get charged with a tax of 14%, which would 8% would go towards holders and this and that. So there was a lot of thought behind that, and at this moment, there's just it would be basically burning the money if we were to go with it, and especially Coin Tiger, which is definitely inflating their volume because their volume was 16 billion in 24 hours, which is massive. That was basically the thing that got us started. It was like 16 billion. That's huge, and they're not even in top 100 exchanges. So that was a red flag, of course. But when we do decide to go for a centralized exchange, it will be a minimum of top 50. That I mean maximum of top 50. So we'll not go even for 51 spot.
Well,
Um,
on that, I'll say that there are some exceptions that could be made. Like Mandala, I personally really like them, but they're listed as number 83. So it's gonna just be it'll have to make a lot of sense, and I think we got really excited and we kind of jumped the gun. I think moving forward too, when it comes to centralized exchange listings, because our community is so international, like CoinTiger, I don't even think you can use it in the U.S. So it's definitely something that when we start to figure out what centralized exchanges we are interested in as a development team, we also kind of want to reach out to the community to see if you guys either like the exchanges or know anything about it, or maybe know dirty secrets about the exchanges that we don't know. Because then it could also kind of prevent us from having another one of those like hype moments where we got really excited about this centralized exchange just to have really big letdowns. And it kind of could mitigate and prevent that from happening again in the future.
yeah, well, I take back the top 50, but
Yeah.
at the same
Well,
time, we don't really want to put it into an exchange where all the meme tokens are. If somebody were to uh, list something like
hmm.
I don't even know, like a meme coin of a ridiculous name, and it's there because of hype.
Harry
It
Potter's
doesn't
Quidditch
make
Cup
sense.
coin.
I I hate that. I hate the idea of people actually buying that shit.
Yeah.
Um, even if the developers are doxxed and everything like that, what the hell are they even thinking? How
They're
far will they go with Harry Potter? I'm not even gonna say the next words, but
all the way up to number 2
you know,
trending on CoinMarketCap. Or did they hit number 1? It doesn't matter what they hit.
I,
They hit high enough. They got higher than us, and we got all the way up to number 3. So I'm a little salty about
so
that.
just because we're not building hype of the meme coin, guys, don't be discouraged by that because that's a good thing. When all the regulations comes in, so the government already in USA is doing something about this. So things will go down on them big time. And as a utility token with an actual utility, whenever we bring it out in Q1, which will be huge, because we will survive this when the regulations comes in, and they will basically die out because that's basically we're basically at 1991, I think, in crypto. Looking at crypto now, it's like .com bubble, all these big all these random projects just popping up, this and that. But there's always a gem in that. There was always a gem like eBay or Amazon, something like that, which in their stock value was like, I don't know, less than $1 at that time. And now it's like, I don't even know, 300, something
Oh,
like that. So
Amazon's a lot more
it's
than 200-300, I can tell you that. They're
uh,
they're up
yeah,
there.
Amazon four. It's almost 3,000, my friend.
Yeah.
yeah. But
3,000.
whenever they started, it was only like they were selling books or something like that on Web 1,
Mhm.
I think, or Web 2. I'm not even sure. But their value was cent. Whenever they started, and it was this .com bubble and this and that, everybody had to have it. So that's where we are now in the wild wild west. But at the same time, this bubble will burst, and as long as we can, sustain this utility project, uh, we will survive, and which is really great actually, because I wouldn't want to be in any meme token or anything like that. We're trying to build a future, a better future for everybody, and building this will provide that.
And that's what the
And you
whole
guys are,
Oh, continue.
sorry, Joe. And you guys are so early in this. It's unreal what kind of support we have, and we appreciate all of you actually.
So what I was gonna say is that's where the whole like contract renouncement comes into place with a lot of those meme coins. Is it's kind of how they skirt the utility ruling. It's pretty much like somebody makes a token, but then they renounce the contract, so they no longer have any like connection or tie to it. So that way, if the government were to come down on them, there's no way to prove that
It's
it's
a
theirs. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's a basically a
a
community-owned token
yeah.
project.
So that's pretty much what that all involves and how a lot of them get away with it. So yeah, it's regulations are changing. It'll be interesting, but that's why we're staying kind of on the forefront of it, so that way when shit hits the fan, it doesn't hit our fan.
I'm not sure how much you guys look into other projects and stuff like that, and I'm not shilling
Mhm.
here, but Evergrow Coin, they're releasing their own exchange, and it's going to be Q3 of 2022, but it's focused on tokenomics that all the other exchanges never would touch with a 10-foot pole. They're releasing an exchange that is smart contract and tokenomics built into it. I just wanted to throw that out there. Might be an early partnership
Yeah.
at this
Um,
point.
Talking about that, that's actually it's not hard to do because it would basically centralize exchange without disabling tax. It so no no exchange, in my opinion, no exchange wants that because if you were to go on a centralized exchange and then you occur like maybe 10 or 20% tax, and then you get people like thousands or millions of people complaining, where's my money, all this stuff. So they don't want to touch that. And somebody doing that actually is, you know, as long as people understand what they're getting into, it's fine.
What are they trying to make a centralized exchange or a decentralized exchange?
They, it, you know, I didn't listen to the last AMA.
Fair
I
enough.
was under the impression it was a centralized
Okay.
exchange, but yeah, and I mean they keep saying it's the first of its kind, so I'm assuming it's a centralized
Okay.
Yeah,
exchange because
probably.
it's not just going to be a swap or anything like that. It's going to be an actual exchange, is what they're touting.
Okay.
It's actually interesting thing, yeah. It's very interesting to actually have your token on something like that because it would increase your own volume. Whatever you have your basically liquidity routed to, which we have to PancakeSwap.
Well, and
Um,
theoretically, at that point too, Web3 will be out, so it might even be that much easier. There could just be a lot of restrictions. Now, I've always assumed centralized exchanges don't do reflections and things like that for tax reasons because it would be an accounting nightmare to account for the different countries and then the gains and stuff like that that would have to be reported. But it could even potentially just be Web2 restrictions, so there could be reasoning why it'll actually successfully be the first of its kind. Not saying necessarily that I see value in partnership just now because I really don't know much about the project, but feel free to shoot me just like a little, if you have a clip to one of their AMAs or something like that, or like a specific article talking about what you're talking about, so when I get a chance, I can actually review it. But it's, you said Evergrow coin?
Yeah,
'Cause-
I'll airdrop you some coins. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, even better. No, I feel like I've seen Evergrow a few times on other, because I like to creep around and see what other projects are doing, just for ideas, but also to see what's not working. And I definitely know I've seen Evergrow here and there. I'm just not in their group.
yeah, it's an interesting concept, of course. Uh, you guys have anything to ask us or regarding that before we move on to other stuff?
I had a quick question if I can hop in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fire
sure.
away.
So, I noticed that like a lot of projects, kind of further to JR's question about Evergrow there, a lot of products with any kind of or projects with any kind of community behind them right now really seem to be interested in creating things like a swap or a central exchange or decentralized exchange or anything like that. So I guess once we have our own platform set up, like it's great for everybody that's already here to utilize and be interested in taking part in that. But what's going to drive people to our platform over these other projects that maybe even have a bigger community than ours that are setting up their own uh, platforms as well, whether again like it's a swap and exchange, it's centralized or decentralized.
The the biggest thing, and
Was that a statement or a question? It felt like a statement.
What's the question?
Yeah,
Just basically like what are we doing differently, or
Oh,
what's basically going to drive people to our
oh,
platform versus using some of the other new platforms that are being developed right now as well.
okay. So in reality, we do want to transfer over to our own exchange after maybe a year or so, but we will have liquidity in our own exchange. But that's not the driving point, of course. The driving point will be um, most like whatever we are building, it'll be very prestigious to our own like ecosystem, right? So that ecosystem might include some other tokens as well, you know. So what we're trying to do is build a safe space. Of course, many are doing the swaps, this and that, you know, and it's like it's I think it's the most common promise, you know, we'll do a swap, this, that. But of course, what does that swap do for others or anything like that? So uh, as
so
further we go with development, um, with especially the launch pad that we're gonna build. So these will only be exclusive to our own swap. Um, and there's a lot of things that will actually drive people towards us. But if Joe wants to take over because my brain isn't working, it's kind of late for me.
yeah, no, sorry, Eric. To actually answer the question real quick, the biggest thing is
He doesn't.
it's not a swap.
Okay, I'll keep talking.
It's not
Uh,
a swap. Is the
So I
whole
think the biggest thing that will drive people towards us is the exclusivity that we
there we
are
go. I
trying
was
to
on mute.
build.
I'm sorry. Know what? I was like, why can't anybody hear me? So Eric, to really touch base on that, so the biggest thing is our swap isn't just a swap. So a swap is something simple. I could have released it on day one, even with my technical skills. It's really, you can go into the coding on a website, you can copy paste the code, redeploy it with changing a few parameters, and all of a sudden you have a swap. We are building it even further into effectively a decentralized exchange. So the whole concept is to have that feel of a centralized exchange, as well as a lot of the features of it. So there are a few out there already, but the biggest thing is like and there's like stuff under development. I don't want to give out too much because we do bump into issues every time that I do, but there are a lot of added features that you don't see on a swap that you see on an exchange that we are working on implementing actually into our swap itself. Hence why we were trying to go for such a big budget and why it's going to take a little bit longer than a normal swap, because we really do want it to be a one-stop shop where you can have, where it's more than just you type in a couple of numbers and you swap your tokens. Like to have the ability to really fine tune what you want to pay for things, or the way the farming and pools work and the way the liquidity works. Like it's just more in-depth features for more advanced investors, but also a more comfortable interface for those new investors. It really will, when our project is out, it will be, again, kind of lost in a sea of projects, but like Howler had said with the .com bubble, the gems are going to be the ones that survive and stick out. So like 2021 had an asinine amount of tokens that came into existence, and really by the end of Q1 of 2022, I really think almost all of them are going to be gone. So that's also going to take a lot of these projects that were promising things that were simple that they just kind of lost steam on, and ours is going to be able to shine through. Because also too, like look at some of the crap that we've been through already. Just to do the burn wallet to be the most common one that I bring up. I've talked to several other devs that I've told that story, and they're like, dude, I'd have just thrown in the towel and called it quits like that moment. Like, I can't believe you guys figured out what to do to get through it. So that's the other thing that's going to drive a lot of people, is the fact that we do these weekly AMAs. We're always in front of the group. Like you can't go to Pancake Swap and even actually get help. You go into their Telegram group and it's just all bots of people trying to scam you. Like we're real people doing real things. Like it's the ability for people to actually come and go, like, I'm lost, I'm confused, do you have ideas? Like we can walk them through things. We can just keep a personal touch to it, and also just a mature feel. It's one of those, I really wish that I could share those screenshots that we have already and talk about a few more things. Because that will it would have answered the question without me having to talk. But there's just a lot more features in what we're trying to do than you're used to seeing that'll really set us apart from the rest.
See, that's why Joe is the speaker and I'm the guy behind the computer. But basically, yeah, so the whole idea of that is, why are decentralized like exchanges, or actually uh, decentralized exchanges or swaps or anything like that, why aren't they supported by their own developers to help other people, you know? So it doesn't mean that you make a decentralized something and you take yourself out of that equation, you know? So it doesn't mean that. It just means that you don't collect data, you know, on people. So no personal information, anything like that. So what we're gonna, you know, be bringing is an actual, like maybe even live support, you know, if we can hire people to do that.
Which,
Um,
on that note too, the developer that is working on our decentralized exchange will maintain employment with us moving forward, and he will be maintaining the exchange that he built. So the person who actually did the code is going to stay effectively on staff to make sure that everything is going. So it's not like he'll build it, give it to us, and then we have to find somebody. He's going to build it, it's going to run effectively, and he'll know it like the back of his hand because he'll have been the one who custom coded it.
and he will be the one progressing and possibly even changing it to a multi-chain in the future.
Exactly.
So, you know, that was I think I kind of forgot to mention this at the start, but that was like one of the great things, that he basically wants to be part of the team. He thinks the project is amazing. So, you know, he wants to be here, and you know, we want him to be here as well, because with any development that we actually do, we want developers to actually stay with us. They will be um, under, of course, supervision, but we want them to be working on whatever they built and basically progress on it. So, for example, if somebody like back in the day, right, the first like Steve Jobs made an iPhone, this and that, it was like iPhone 3, I think, or whatever it was. But, with progress and time, look at now, like iPhone 11, 13, whatever, people progress on their own, like starting development. So you can see great things coming from this decentralized exchange as well as any
So
other
just
platform.
so just to clarify with that statement, you guys are retaining the dev, and that dev just doesn't want to just stay with us and do a job. He wants to incorporate what he wants to do and basically create with us even a better idea. And so if something gets launched and in the future, instead of having copycats, right, that are to copy us and then develop over us, he wants to be in the forefront and pushing ADREAM in a sense that's going to be uh, just staying in front of an innovation. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, he basically wants
Basically,
to
yeah.
stay employed. He sees this as a long-term thing where instead of having to do multiple projects for multiple people, he sees that this project could be the last one that he has to be a part of because it will not only pay the bills, but like it'll continue to grow with him. So then also like the Dream Chart, the Dream Launch, multiple platforms down the road, we will have an in-house
Yeah.
developer that can completely do all of this ready to go.
It won't
Right.
be just one developer.
Correct.
There will be
I
a
understand that.
bunch of
Yeah,
them actually.
yeah.
But
Develop the team and get it
exactly,
going.
exactly.
Man, that is beastly, man. That is, oh. See, I told you, man. I just knew it. Anyways,
Like
hold
it,
on.
what we're trying to do is, if we were to build a platform, we're not giving up on it. And, the developers will never have access to any of the funds, let's say the wallets or anything like that. That will be completely secured by Joe himself as a CEO. And we'll probably have what's that thing called
Well, I was gonna say
when
for
there's
this, because of the complexity of some of the components, there will be multi-sig wallets for this 100%.
yes,
Because
exactly, yeah.
and I want it split up amongst the whole team because at that point too, like if any one of us did get compromised on our tech, it would prevent the whole system from being compromised. Like that's not one thing that I would feel comfortable just having exclusive control over, but also it would prevent any one of us from having exclusive access to it either. So the theory is to have it as a multi-sig wallet, and in my head, I'm thinking 3 out of the 4 of us need to have to be able to do yes. Like sometimes with a multi-sig, it's like 2 out of however many, but I feel like 75% or 3 out of the 4 of us have to be online ready and basically log in at the same time. Kind of like when you watch a movie and they want to set the nuke and they have to turn 2 keys across the room at the same time concept because it's that massive. I mean, it's eventually going to be billions of dollars running through this system, and that's not a level of stress that I would like to have exclusively. I feel like splitting it up removes all stress, period.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I hope that
Yeah.
clarifies some things. So as we grow along with the platforms, the more we build, the more staff we'll get. Um, yeah, it'll not be like something building a swap and just leaving it out there for somebody to play with. It'll be a it'll be a whole team working on things. It won't be like one developer developing this decentralized exchange and go on to the next project. He will constantly have to do work on this, create pools, add projects, this and that, just improve on the whole concept, everything like that. So we'll have different, basically, coders for every platform. And if that coder can do both, that's even better because we don't have to pay an extra person. But in reality, we don't want to put too much stress on people because when they concentrate on one thing, that's, the better they get on it.
Any other questions before I go ahead and do the spin the wheel for the Twitter giveaway?
There was a Twitter giveaway.
There was a Twitter giveaway.
I live under a rock.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Twitter giveaway was only for those who live under trees, so you did kind of exclude yourself by living under that rock.
Also, I don't believe it would be fair for me to do it either or anything. But yes, go spin,
Oh.
hypnotize me.
Actually, one last question. I'm sorry, real quick. And I mean, just a few minutes. I know you're like,
Bruh.
dang it.
Just a few
I know,
minutes.
right?
All right, I'll give you 22.
Thanks. The question is, are we going to do the planned buy?
So,
Um,
yes.
Make it quick.
Yes, but no. Well, it'll be yes. So, the biggest reason why we held off on the planned buy is if you look at the market as a whole right now, it's on the verge of rebounding. But if we would have gone all in like we had planned on that day, we would have done a strong rebound and no eyes would have been on that project. So,
Yeah.
basically with Christmas coming up and New Year's coming up and a lot of people are distracted. I mean, think about our AMA groups. Friday AMAs in-house used to have close to 40 people sometimes. And a lot of
Yeah,
those people I
now
do recognize still talking in the group, but they're not on these calls because there's so much going on that I feel
Yeah.
it'll be wasted energy. And not everybody's going to have the funds to do it twice. I mean, some people $5 is all they're going to have to throw at this. So if we're going to do it, I want to make it count. And so we're kind of discovering little ways on our end to get some more eyes on it. And if I can get a hold, there's some of these content creators finally talking to me, ones that don't look for payment, ones that actually do research, and if they believe in the project, then they're going to research it. Still haven't got Deb yet, but still working on her. But if I can get a few of them that I know are going to get their eyes on this project, at that point is when I want to do it, because they're going to do their release right as we do a buy, which is going to show another rebound, another green bar. We'll kind of stagger it. And, originally I was thinking, like, how do we coordinate what time that we do it? I'm thinking that it might even just make sense if we say 3 o'clock, whatever your time zone is, because then that separates it across 24 different hour time zones where whatever time zone
Freaking
people are in.
brilliant.
Yeah. So then it's just universal, like 3 o'clock, not 3 UTC, it's 3 local time. And then that just breaks everybody down into their own time zones, which will be perfect. So it'll still happen, but it's just we have a pin in it. That way it's not wasted energy, because it's a really good idea and it's going to do exactly what it needs to do. We're just trying to get it to trigger with a little extra eyes on it so it goes that much further.
so it basically goes viral instead of like us spending, just buying a bit, and it just
Yes.
moves
So it's not
basically
just in
down or
group.
sideways.
Because it'll happen in the group and we'll all be like, "Oorah, this is super exciting," but no one will know. It's kind of like our dirty little secret. Where if we can get a couple eyes on it, they're going to see it happen and they're going to go, "Okay, what's this community up to? What do they know that we don't know?" And then it'll cause people to FOMO in from outside sources and try to be a part of the project.
So
Awesome.
once it's the right time to do it, we'll just let everybody know.
Yeah, I'll still give like a
Once we
48-hour
prepare,
notice, but yeah, we'll know.
once we prepare everything for the big campaign, we'll let everybody know once it's taking place.
Awesome.
Any other questions? I know I like to pick on you, but I do like your questions, so.
I'm gonna have
I
to
think that
go soon.
Lambo.
I
When
think you have the
Lambo.
best questions on the internet.
There we go. All right,
You
here's
want to start this show?
Yes, I do. This will let us know when Lambo. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle it one more time, and then I'm gonna spin it, and that way, y'all know I didn't just pick my favorite. Oh, this is really going. It did not go this long last time. There we go. Now we know who the winner is. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna message them directly on Twitter because I don't think they're on this call. But this is not the only Twitter giveaway. I'm going to develop one up for Christmas, and I'm going to work on getting an Instagram one as well. Instagram's a little bit trickier just because Twitter is definitely something that you can post and repost, and I've been on it a lot more the last couple of days just kind of with my funny jokes, trying to get some attention from some of these other projects. But I will get those up. I will get them announced. So right now, these Twitter giveaways actually are monumental marketing strategies because realistically, what we're doing is we're just sending the reflections that would have been turned into B&B to pay for somebody else to do marketing right back to the community. So it's kind of keeps the money in-house. end of day, it impacts the chart less and gives you guys all an opportunity to have a little bit more of a piece of the pie. So if you like them, keep doing them. If you don't like them, tell me it's dumb. I won't be offended. I'll just probably tell you too bad and do it anyways. So
Hi guys.
hey,
Hey, listen. You were advertising a few days ago a form where you could refer a strong project that need assistance. What has become of that form?
it wasn't a strong project that needs assistance. What it was is it's the AMA form because we're trying to effectively interview projects in our group as well, kind of like we did with King Lion earlier. So the idea is it's a way for you to refer a project that you kind of already know about and you feel would be worth us discussing. And the ultimate idea behind that is either looking for potential partnerships in the future or just shedding light to potentially really good projects to the community. I'm all about diversification, especially during downtimes, because you never know what project might kind of kick off a little bit more than ours first, which at that point could either bring us up, you could flip your profits into ADREAM, et cetera, et cetera. So it just helps us build a network, especially if we do go into a little bit of a downturn market. Tokens and projects that have networks of other tokens and projects can all kind of hold together to bring us up and out of the red sea if it happens. So there's multiple ideas, but I just reposted it in the group too, so that you have the immediate access to it.
Fantastic. I know a great project. I'm gonna refer it. I'm sure. I hope you will consider it.
Yeah.
Yes, a very nice project. The tokenomics is marvelous, but I think they're struggling a bit.
Okay.
Perhaps, yeah. But I'll share it with you, and then let's see where we go from there.
Yeah, sounds good to me, sir.
It's
Thank you.
as long as we don't have to go to their group and say we have a marketing proposal.
Well,
No,
how
no, not on the call.
in
No, no, no.
in the form
I,
itself,
I,
it requires them to give us who the contact person is. So
yes.
yeah,
No, I'll do that, and they're very open, and I think it's gonna be a great partnership. So I've spoken to them, so I know it's a legitimate group,
awesome,
and they're looking for a group like you. So I'm gonna share it with you. Okay.
awesome. I appreciate
Awesome.
that. Thank you.
Bye bye.
So guys, I need to go,
Yeah.
and it's my day off tomorrow, so
Yeah.
I'll
So
be back on Sunday.
on those notes as well, I've got nothing else to say. I'm appreciating the fact that all of you listened to me for another hour and a half. So enjoy your weekend. I'll still be around. This is the Christmas weekend with my church. So tomorrow is 6 hours of practice, and then I have 3 shows on Sunday. So I'll still be popping in throughout all of that. But as always, any questions, just reach out to me directly, post it in the group. All I have to say, our admin and mod team is phenomenal. Most of them are able to actually answer questions without me having to anymore, which is super nice. But again, if there's anything specific, it might take me a little bit longer than it did in the past, but I will always get back to you guys. And everybody enjoy your weekend.
Yep. See you guys in chat. Have a good weekend.
Ting-a-ling.